The night sky trembles with the whispers of destiny. Stars blaze above the Aegean, while an oracle's voice echoes, "A child born of Danae will change the fate of kings." Amidst thunder and fear, the stage is set for a hero's impossible journey. In a dark chamber of Argos, King Acrisius imprisons his daughter Danae. A single shaft of light pierces the bronze tower. From the heavens, Zeus descends as golden rain, bathing Danae in divine brilliance and conceiving the child who will defy fate. A cry pierces the dawn. Danae cradles her newborn son, Perseus, his tiny fists raised as if already defying fate. Acrisius, terrified of prophecy, orders mother and child sealed in a wooden chest and cast into the endless sea. Waves carry the chest across the endless waters until it drifts ashore on Seriphos. Fisherman Dictys, humble and kind, rescues Danae and Perseus, offering shelter. Yet shadows loom, for King Polydectes harbors ambitions that will soon ensnare them. Years pass. Perseus grows strong, fearless, and noble under Dictys's care. Yet Polydectes eyes Danae with desire and sees Perseus as an obstacle. At a great feast, the king demands every man bring him a gift of horses, yet Perseus swears he will bring a greater prize. Mocked by Polydectes, Perseus declares, "I will bring you the head of Medusa, the Gorgon." Gasps echo through the hall, for her name alone chills hearts. Polydectes smiles cruelly, seizing the chance to rid himself of the young hero once and for all. Unsure of where to begin, Perseus wanders the temple of Athena. Shadows move, and suddenly the goddess herself appears in gleaming armor. With calm authority, she promises aid. Hermes will guide him, but only the bravest heart may face the Gorgon. Hermes appears in a shimmer of winged sandals, playful yet wise. He offers Perseus guidance to find the Graii, the sisters who share one eye and one tooth, for only they know the secret path to the Gorgons. The quest begins. Perseus journeys through harsh lands of desert winds and jagged cliffs until he reaches the lair of the Graii. 3 withered crones huddled together, passing a single eye between them, whispering secrets of death and fate. With cunning, Perseus snatches the Graii's eye mid-passing. Blind and shrieking, they beg for mercy. Perseus demands the way to the Stygian nymphs, keepers of hidden treasures. Reluctantly, they reveal the path. A new chapter of the journey unfolds. The path leads Perseus through forests older than time, where shadows whisper with unseen voices. He reaches the realm of the Stygian nymphs, guardians of mystical treasures, their beauty veiled in twilight mist and silence. The nymphs, touched by destiny, grant Perseus sacred gifts: a polished bronze shield that gleams like a mirror, a curved sword sharp as truth, a helm of invisibility, and a pouch to hold what must not be seen. Each relic radiates divine purpose. With divine armor strapped and resolve unshaken, Perseus departs. Hermes soars beside him, guiding the way across stormy seas and desolate coasts toward the edge of the world where the Gorgons dwell. Even the air grows heavy with dread. Night falls as Perseus enters a land of stone. Scattered statues of men and beasts stand frozen in eternal terror, their twisted faces revealing Medusa's curse. Each step feels like walking through the aftermath of a forgotten war. At the heart of this lifeless realm, Perseus finds them, the Gorgons. Two sisters sleep uneasily, wings curled like serpents. But Medusa stirs, her hair alive with hissing snakes, her beauty both haunting and monstrous. The hero grips his sword tighter. Perseus lowers his eyes, using the polished shield as his guide. Step by step he closes in, his breath steady, his heart thundering. The shield reflects Medusa's shifting form, each snake writhing like a living flame in the night. In one swift strike, the sword flashes. Medusa's scream pierces the night as her head is severed. Black blood spills, and from it rise Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the warrior of golden blade, life born from death. The other Gorgons awaken with terrible cries, wings spreading like storms. Perseus slips on the helm of invisibility, vanishing into shadow as they rage, striking blindly. Guided by Hermes' voice, he escapes into the night sky. Carrying Medusa's head sealed in the pouch, Perseus soars across distant lands. Yet his journey is far from over. On the horizon, he spies a chained maiden by the sea, her cries mingling with the roar of waves and the shadow of a looming monster. Andromeda's eyes meet Perseus, a silent plea of despair and courage. The sea monster rises, jaws wide as the waves quake around her. Perseus tightens his grip on the sword, ready to defy the gods of the deep for the life of the innocent. The sea boils with fury as the monster lashes its massive tail, sending waves higher than towers. Perseus steadies himself in the stormy air, shield flashing with reflected lightning, as he prepares to strike for Andromeda's salvation. The beast roars, spewing salt and foam, its jaws gaping like the gates of Tartarus. Perseus dives, slashing across its scaly hide. The monster thrashes, bellowing in agony, while the chained maiden clings to her fading hope. Perseus darts upward again, circling with Hermes' swiftness. With a decisive cry, he plunges his sword deep into the beast's throat. The sea shakes as the monster collapses, its shadow sinking back into the abyss, defeated by mortal courage. The chains rattle as Perseus frees Andromeda, her wrists bruised yet her spirit unbroken. She gazes upon her savior with awe, a bond of destiny already weaving between them as the sea calms from its rage. Together, they return to her father's court. The king, Cepheus, marvels at Perseus, but hesitates, bound by oaths to another suitor. Still, the people cheer their hero, and whispers of love between Perseus and Andromeda stir the hall. Yet at the feast of celebration, Phineus, Andromeda's promised suitor, storms in with armed men. His voice drips with rage as he claims the maiden as his own. Tension thickens, the hall trembling with the clash of honor and love. The clamor rises into battle. Spears fly, swords clash, and Perseus is surrounded. He fights valiantly, but knows he cannot match their endless numbers. At last, with grim resolve, he reaches for the weapon none may face, the head of Medusa. The head is revealed. Its gaze burns through the chamber. One by one, Phineus and his warriors stiffen into statues of stone, their faces twisted in rage and terror, frozen forever by their own arrogance. Silence falls at last. Peace returns to the hall, though its cost is heavy. Cepheus bows to Perseus, granting him Andromeda's hand. Amid the torch's glow, the two gaze upon each other, not just as savior and saved, but as partners bound by fate's design. Days later, Perseus departs with Andromeda at his side. The wind carries their ship across endless horizons, Medusa's head hidden, Pegasus flying above. The journey home beckons, yet destiny still holds unfinished trials in its grasp. The ship glides toward Seriphos, waves gentle beneath the rising dawn. Perseus gazes at Andromeda's smile, yet in his heart lingers the memory of Polydectes' cruelty. He knows he must confront the tyrant who sought his ruin. On Seriphos, Danae hides in fear, for Polydectes' desires have grown darker. Dictys shields her as best he can, but the king's demands grow relentless. Whispers of Perseus's return stir hope and dread across the island. Polydectes scoffs when Perseus enters his hall. Surrounded by mocking courtiers, the king sneers, "Have you returned with horses or only excuses?" Perseus sets the pouch on the ground, his voice steady as stone. With one motion, Perseus unveils the head of Medusa. Gasps choke the hall as its power floods the chamber. Courtiers freeze where they stand, their laughter locked in stone. Polydectes himself stiffens, his pride forever etched in lifeless marble. When silence falls, Perseus lowers the head once more. The island breathes free at last. Dictys is made king, his kindness guiding Seriphos into peace. Perseus embraces Danae, his heart lighter, yet destiny calls him still onward. Now Perseus journeys with Andromeda to Argos, the land of his birth. Whispers of prophecy ride the wind, of Acrisius, the grandfather who cast him to the sea, and the fate foretold long ago that cannot be undone. In Argos, Acrisius has fled, fearing the prophecy that his grandson would cause his death. Yet fate coils silently, waiting for its moment. Perseus hears of games being held in Larissa and chooses to compete, unaware of destiny's trap. The games begin. Athletes hurl discs beneath a cheering crowd. Perseus steps forward, muscles taut, the disc gleaming in his hand. He throws with the strength of a demigod, the air singing with its speed. The discus flies true, but fate twists its course. It strikes a distant man among the onlookers, an old figure cloaked in secrecy. Gasps ripple through the crowd as the man falls lifeless. It is Acrisius, prophecy fulfilled at last. Grief strikes Perseus as he realizes what has been done. Though he never sought Acrisius's death, the prophecy has spoken. He bows his head, mourning a fate that no man, not even a hero, could escape. The crowd whispers in awe and sorrow. After Acrisius's death, Perseus cannot bear to claim Argos, for the throne feels stained by prophecy. Instead, he exchanges kingdoms with his kinsman Megapenthes, taking rule over Tiryns and founding a line destined for glory. In Tiryns, Perseus builds mighty walls with his own hands, stone stacked so vast that men whisper of cyclopean aid. His city rises, a beacon of strength and justice, carved from both divine blood and mortal will. Yet the head of Medusa remains too dangerous to keep. Its power radiates even through the pouch, a reminder of blood and curse. Perseus resolves to return it to Athena, who first guided him toward this impossible path. In a blaze of light, Athena appears once more. Perseus bows, presenting the severed head. With calm grace, she accepts it, placing it upon her shield, the aegis, where it will strike terror into the enemies of Olympus forevermore. The gods, pleased with Perseus's courage, grant him peace. Yet among mortals, his name spreads like fire. Poets sing of the youth who defied monsters, kings, and prophecy, a hero whose legend will never fade. Beside him, Andromeda becomes his queen. Her eyes still hold the strength of the maiden chained to the rock, and together they weave a reign of balance, her compassion softening his valor, their bond forged in both love and trial. Years pass and their children grow, heroes and heroines in their own right. The blood of Perseus and Andromeda flows into future generations, seeding dynasties that will shape the very fabric of Greece's destiny. But every tale circles back to the gods. In the heavens, Zeus smiles upon his son's triumph. Athena carries the aegis into endless wars, and even Hermes chuckles at the mortal who proved worthy of divine aid. When Perseus's mortal days end, the gods honor him. He and Andromeda are lifted into the heavens as constellations, their forms blazing in the night sky, eternal guardians of love, courage, and destiny. And so the tale closes, a story of prophecy fulfilled, of monsters vanquished, of love and loss, of fate's inescapable thread. To this day, when eyes turn skyward, they see Perseus shining, forever chasing the memory of Medusa. High above Tiryns, Pegasus soars, born from Medusa's blood, yet bound to Perseus's triumph. The winged horse becomes a living emblem of freedom, its wings scattering clouds like dreams drifting across eternity. Children gather around hearths, listening to elders recount Perseus's adventures. The name Medusa sparks both terror and wonder, while the image of the hero with shining shield becomes the stuff of unending legend. But whispers endure that Medusa was once a maiden cursed, her beauty twisted by Athena's wrath. Even in triumph, Perseus's tale carries shadows of pity, for victory is never free from sorrow. The aegis shield blazes in countless wars, Medusa's head striking fear into armies. Yet Perseus himself is remembered for more than weapons. He is recalled as the man who dared face destiny with steady hands. As Tiryns flourishes, its people carve monuments to Perseus and Andromeda, pillars etched with their story. Marble reliefs show chains broken, monsters slain, and lovers united. History carved into stone for generations unborn. Travelers carry tales across the Aegean. In distant markets, merchants speak of Perseus as a demigod, while bards sing of his flight with Hermes, his battle with the sea beast, and the gleam of Pegasus's wings. Generations later, kings traced their bloodlines to Perseus, claiming his divine heritage to justify their rule. His name becomes a crown itself, a symbol of legitimacy etched into the genealogy of empires. Yet for all the grandeur, Perseus's heart is remembered most in his love for Andromeda. Their union is sung not as conquest, but as harmony, proof that even amidst monsters and prophecy, tenderness can endure. Time weaves them into the constellations, Sailors at sea steer by Perseus's stars, praying for courage, while lovers whisper beneath Andromeda's glow, trusting the heavens to guard their bond. And thus, the tale of Perseus becomes more than myth. It is a mirror of human striving. His battles are ours, his love our hope, his destiny our reminder that even mortals can touch the eternal. In the halls of Tyrants, storytellers immortalize Perseus's deeds. Painted vases show him holding the mirrored shield, while Medusa's severed head gleams in crimson strokes. Each artifact keeps his legend alive. Pegasus, untamed spirit of the skies, becomes a companion of poets and warriors alike. The winged horse inspires verses of freedom, its silhouette painted across temple walls, a symbol of divine beauty. Perseus's children spread his bloodline into kingdoms. From them will rise great dynasties, including the mighty Heracles, whose strength will shake Olympus itself. Thus, the hero's legacy stretches beyond a single tale. In quiet nights, Perseus reflects on Medusa. He wonders if her curse was justice or cruelty, if her death brought peace or sorrow. Even heroes carry questions that echo into eternity. Athena, bearing the aegis, strides into wars across ages. The Gorgon's head screams silently from her shield, terrifying even the bravest foes. Medusa's power, though slain, becomes eternal in divine hands. In Argos, statues rise to honor Perseus, carved taller than men, shield and sword raised high. Pilgrims come from afar, laying wreaths of laurel, whispering prayers for courage and safe journeys. The seas still remember the chained maiden. Fishermen point to the rock where Andromeda once wept, telling their sons that love stronger than fear saved her life from the monster of the deep. Priests inscribe the prophecy that shaped Perseus's life. No man escapes fate, not even kings. His story becomes a warning to rulers who try to defy the gods, a lesson etched into every temple wall. In distant lands, his name shifts into legend. Foreigners speak of the star warrior who slew the serpent woman, each culture reshaping his tale, until Perseus belongs not only to Greece, but to the world. At last, Perseus and Andromeda grow old together, their love enduring beyond battles and prophecy. They pass from life as mortals, but their names blaze forever in the sky, where no storm or time can touch them. The oracle's voice still echoes through ages. Fate weaves unbroken threads. Kings, warriors, and lovers whisper Perseus's story, fearing the god's hidden hand in every choice. His legend becomes a compass of destiny. In the markets of Athens, traveling bards recite his tale with music. Children cheer at Pegasus's flight, women weep at Andromeda's chains, and men nod solemnly at Medusa's tragic fall. Stories live where hearts listen. Artists etch Medusa's anguished face not as horror, but as sorrow. They see her less as a monster and more as a victim cursed unjustly. Even in death, her story shifts, softening through human eyes. Perseus's children, Perses and Electryon, carve their marks on distant lands. Through them, the blood of gods and heroes runs deep, weaving a lineage that connects mortals with Olympus forever. The shield that once mirrored Medusa's stare rests in Athena's temple. Pilgrims bow before it, believing it holds the power to ward off evil, its polished bronze still reflecting a ghost of the past. Perseus's tale grows into ritual plays performed at festivals. Actors wearing bronze masks reenact his battles, drums echoing like thunder, torches flickering as the crowd gasps at Medusa's final scream. Storms gather over the sea where Cetus once rose. Sailors say its spirit lingers, restless in the abyss. They leave offerings of wine and bread at the waves, begging the waters for safe passage. Andromeda's homeland flourishes under Perseus's reign. Her people celebrate with festivals of lanterns drifting across the sea, each light symbolizing chains broken, a maiden freed, and a future blessed. On distant battlefields, warriors cry out Perseus's name before charging. They believe his courage flows through them, and that his shadow stands at their side when fear threatens to overwhelm. Yet through all victories, legends, and shrines, the stars remain the truest memory. Perseus, Medusa, Andromeda, and Pegasus blaze together, locked in eternal dance above mortal eyes. The sky remembers what men forget. In Rome's rise, Perseus's legend crosses the seas. Sculptors carve his battles into marble arches, and senators compare their triumphs to his divine victories, tying mortal empires to immortal tales. Philosophers debate his story in colonnades. Some see Perseus as fate's prisoner, others as its master. Medusa becomes a metaphor for fear itself, a terror conquered only with courage and wit. In distant lands, traders paint Perseus on pottery, not as a warrior, but as a bringer of light who rescued love from chains. Legends evolve, reshaped by the tongues of those who carry them. Temples rise to Medusa, not as monster, but as protector. Her likeness guards doorways and shields, keeping evil from crossing thresholds. Once cursed, she becomes sacred, a paradox etched in stone. Generals wear Medusa's image on breastplates, believing her gaze strikes terror into their enemies. In this way, her power persists in war long after her head was severed by Perseus's hand. Perseus's name threads into songs sung by sailors, their voices echoing across waves. Each verse tells of a hero who rode the winds, guiding them safely through storms and shadows. Andromeda's tale inspires maidens across generations. They carve her image not in chains, but crowned in flowers, a symbol of resilience and hope that no fear, no curse can bind forever. When storms roar, villagers whisper prayers to Pegasus. They believe his wings beat back the thunder and his hooves scatter lightning, making him the unseen protector of the skies. In the halls of kings, Perseus's shield is painted on walls beside lions and eagles. Rulers claim his blood runs in their veins, weaving myth into politics, binding power to divine ancestry. As centuries pass, storytellers close their eyes and dream of constellations. They see Perseus forever lifting his sword, Andromeda freed, Medusa blazing with tragic beauty, Pegasus soaring eternally. The sky keeps the final truth. Legends speak of Perseus's descendants in battlefields and councils, carrying the courage of their ancestor. Each generation feels the weight of destiny, echoing the hero who faced gods, monsters, and fate itself. Across seas and mountains, storytellers whisper Medusa's tale with reverence. She is remembered as a caution and a symbol, her image haunting temples, shields, and hearts alike. Her power endures in myth. Perseus's flight with Pegasus becomes a symbol of liberation. Every soaring bird, every wind-swept mountaintop recalls his triumph over fear and mortality, a reminder of mortal potential touched by the divine. In quiet temples, Andromeda is invoked for courage and resilience. Her chains may have bound her body once, but her spirit breaks through every age, inspiring hearts to endure and rise. Stories intertwine across time. Heroes of Greece, Rome, and lands unknown trace their bravery back to Perseus. From mortal deeds to divine echoes, his legacy becomes a bridge between worlds. Even the gods nod in approval. Athena's aegis shines, Hermes' wings glimmer, and Zeus smiles from the heights of Olympus, seeing mortals transformed by courage, love, and unyielding will. Pilgrims in far lands gaze at Perseus's constellation, telling their children that stars are more than light. They are lessons, courage, and memories of those who dared to face fate. Even centuries later, Medusa's image evokes respect. Artists depict her with sorrowful eyes, serpents flowing like flames, a symbol of strength, warning, and beauty forever intertwined. Perseus and Andromeda, bound in stars, whisper across the night sky. Every hero, every maiden, every mortal who gazes upward feels their courage, love, and legacy entwined in the heavens. And so ends the epic, a tapestry of fate, courage, love, and divine intervention. From mortal struggles to immortal constellations, Perseus's tale endures, a myth to fall asleep to, yet awaken inspired by its eternal light.